Okay, this is video 2. We're going to prep the surface, the vacuum, and the pistol for molding. You need a roll of duct tape, a good pair of scissors, a pen, and some 3M double-sided tape. We have some on that Kydex there. And of course you're going to need your vacuum hose that goes to your vacuum cleaner. We're going to start with a small strip here if you bought a kit from us that has the smaller strip on the Kydex here of double-sided tape. I'm going to remove that. Careful it doesn't curl up on you. We're going to put that first strip around the opening of the vacuum cleaner here. Just kind of wrap it around, and then we'll take the scissors and we'll trim off whatever we don't need. If you can get the ends to just touch each other, it's fine. If they don't quite touch, it'll still be fine. Basically just make sure it's on there pretty good, and we'll set that aside and we'll get back to that later. We're going to prep our surface here now. I like to use duct tape for this. If you're going to be working on a wood surface like this plywood we're working on here, the 3M tape doesn't necessarily stick to it really well, so what I like to do is I put down some duct tape, and then my double-sided tape will stick to that pretty well. So we'll tear a strip off here. These are about 12 inches long. We'll just kind of use our little scrap piece of Kydex here as a guide. Get some more tape down. And I missed a spot. Let's touch that up. There we go. Okay. Let me move this. Alright, we'll put our next strip down. We're going to leave the backing on still. You just want to make sure when you put the tape on, you press it down good and get a nice bond with that duct tape. This one here we might have to just trim a little bit. And we'll just trim it with the scissors, press it one more time, make sure it's down there nice and firm. Alright, now we're going to get our pistol placed in the center here, and as you can see it wobbles around a little bit. It's a lot easier to mold these when they're still, so I like to take a little rubber washer, whatever you've got laying around, and we'll place them in different spots under the gun. We just want to get the firearm to sit nice and level. We also want it to sit nice and flat where it's not wobbling around on us. It just makes working with it a lot easier. So we'll get ours adjusted there, a little finessing there, and I think we got it there, and that's nice and flat and no wobble there. Now that scrap piece of Kydex also has a use if you got our kit. What we need to do is create a flange around the gun. If we mold the Kydex and the Kydex goes all the way down to the table, the pistol cup that we're going to form is going to be loose. So I like to create a flange using some Kydex, and I just use a marker. I traced around the trigger guard and trim it off at the muzzle there. So we'll use I'm just using a Sharpie for that. And then we'll take our razor knife, and like before, we'll just score the Kydex. I usually like to score it at least twice, sometimes 3 or 4. Straight cuts you can usually get away with twice, and it'll just snap like that. And then we'll just trace this line with the knife. We'll score that a few times just to make sure we get all the way, at least about halfway through, and then it'll snap a little bit easier. If you have trouble snapping them, another trick you can do is just take a pair of pliers and grab a hold of it right near the snap line, and that'll help you snap it a little easier too sometimes. Kind of like with this one here, a pair of pliers might have helped, but yeah, I think we'll get it. And there we go. So we got one side done. We'll use the other piece of Kydex. We'll trim that one up to, we don't need all of this, so we'll trim it down a little narrower. I like to use a piece of tape and use that as a straight line to cut along with my razor. So we'll give that one a couple scores, we'll snap it, and that'll give us a flange on both sides. This will be where our rivets end up going later. Now we want to thicken them up just a little bit, so I take a piece of scrap cardboard, we trace those out, just like in the video here. And then we'll cut those out with the razor as well, and that'll create a little bit thicker of a flange. And if you're wanting to create a If you want to have your pistol cup on there, the Kydex portion, be adjustable with retention, and you're going to put like little rubber washers in between later, then you might want to make it even thicker. But usually just a regular piece of cardboard will work fine for just riveting them. Now I like to put a piece of tape there just to hold them in place so they don't move around on us. And we should just be good there. Alright, now we're going to take a piece of rope. This is some 3/8 rope. We need to create a channel around the pistol. And this channel is so that the vacuum has a place to suck the air from. If we don't put this there, the plastic, when we put that on top later for vacuum molding, it'll just suck down and it'll clog up the vacuum. So this keeps the nozzle of the vacuum open, as well as a channel in which to create a vacuum and suck that air from. So what I do is I just basically tape it all the way around the perimeter of the firearm and basically get it to where both ends are back together. And those two ends will go through into the nozzle of our vacuum. And with that, we're just about set. I like to take the Kydex that I'm going to be molding. We'll trim it down so we don't need all of this. There's no sense in trying to put too big of a piece of Kydex in here if we don't need it. So we'll trim that down, and we'll get ready for the next video.